Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I know it's not Valentine's Day anymore, just go with it. Noah and I wanted to bring you a review that marks the occasion with a story of love found in the unlikeliest of places. A meaty love. A shy love that hides behind a mask and shows its affection not with flowers and chocolates, but with fist bumps and tandem parachute rides over exotic locations. Army of Two is a game that is 75% bombastic Schwarzenegger movie turned co-op shooter, and 25% a cautionary tale about a potentially worst-case scenario of profit-driven military. It's the first in a trilogy that, alongside Gears of War, helped popularize the third-person cover shooting gameplay first seen in games like Winback and Killswitch.
Or is it Kill.Switch?
Its standout features include the aggro system, which sees players juggling the attention of hostile AI to flank them, and its cosmetic customizations of pimping out the guns and the series' iconic masks. Having already played the third game in the series, I knew to temper my expectations, but I was still hoping for the experience of firing enough bullets to poison the water supply of Montana, and doing that while looking as dumb as possible. Noah and I played through the campaign on Xbox 360 via split screen. The game's servers were taken down in 2011, so the versus modes and even online co-op no longer work. So pour your best bro a chocolate protein shake, light some candles, and pucker up for some platonic love in Army of Two. The story begins with our two protagonists, Salem and Rios, being commanded by a Colonel Dalton to meet up with a contractor to ensure he kills a Somali warlord. The contractor, with the unfortunate name of Clyde, is such a pain to work with that Salem confesses,
"We gotta talk to Dalton. This guy is such an asshole."
I know. I tried to tell him before, but he wasn't having any of it.
Man, that's what sucks about the Army. We don't get to choose what missions we go on or who we work with. We just have to follow orders.
Are you just now figuring this out?
Following this line of thinking that Clyde is an asshole, they hate not choosing their own missions and having to follow orders, our heroes decide to join the company that Clyde works for, where they in fact do not get to choose their own missions, and will still be taking orders from Dalton, who was also lured to the same company by Clyde.
Listen, I ain't working with that guy ever again.
You won't have to.
Philip Clyde will be with you.
It's now a post-9/11 world, as in the day after, when our heroes board a plane to the Middle East so they can blow up WMDs and rescue US troops who are having such a difficult time being as awesome as the private military.
We'll grab a beer when this war is over, you son of a bitch.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Rios to Murray. Mission accomplished. Eisenhower's on the chopper. Should we proceed to extraction ourselves or... Holy shit!
The success of the contractors and blunders of the American Army leads to the US Senate arguing over a bill that would dismantle America's armed forces in favor of a completely corporate and profit-driven defense force. Because, as we know, the decisions of our military are not at all driven by for-profit companies. Nope, not one bit. Spoilers for Army of Two, and skip ahead to this timestamp if you want. None of this is coincidental. The asshole Clyde and our boss Dalton have been stealing the Army troop locations and selling them to other terrorist organizations. We catch the fucker red-handed, collect a hard drive full of evidence, and hand it over to both the US government and leak it to the press. I'm kidding, of course. We put our phones on silent for a whole half a cutscene. When our handler gets a hold of us with a, "Please do one more mission for this company you know without a doubt is responsible for the murderous treason of hundreds of US servicemen and women," we say, fuck it, why not?
Guys gotta eat. You're unbelievable.
It's with this next mission we're tricked into assassinating a senator. We become the two most wanted bounties in the world, and our handler is kidnapped, because, of course she was. We hop on a plane back to the US courtesy of an old friend that players will only recognize if they've been paying close attention to the black market UI. Along the way, Clyde proves he's a capital G gamer by sporting some new "Why So Serious" scars and doing a hijacking. I mean, seriously, where did he get these scars? It feels like a whole middle chunk of the game was left on the cutting room floor. The Air Force opens fire, and we escape a potential boss fight in a way that would make a certain British spy crack a smile. What, did I really write that? Is that really my Sean Connery impersonation? Fucking hell. We pilot our hovercraft directly into the airport where the baddies are holding our handler hostage in the baggage return. Did I mention we're doing all this in the middle of a hurricane and the city looks to be flooded with about 5 feet of water? Oh my god, wait. They're holding her in the baggage return.
Is that some kind of metaphor?
Our rescue damsel informs us she squirreled money into an offshore account before she was captured, and that Dalton has plans to pin the blame on the company's CEO. She tells us to rescue him next if we want to clear our name. Never mind the fact that, yeah, the blame should be on the CEO. But what happened to the hard drive we recovered earlier that clearly indicates Dalton? Anyway, we head off to the SSC headquarters to kill Clyde. To kill Smiley. Stockwell, the CEO, tells us how to recover evidence to clear our names of the assassination and promises to turn himself over if we stop Dalton. We do get a boss fight with Smiley, but Dalton's demise is relegated to a cutscene. With really no crisis being averted, the CEO gets convicted, SSC is dissolved. Hundreds, maybe thousands are dead in the wake of unprecedented corporate corruption, and it seems the US government has passed no laws restricting private military companies because Salem and Rios waste no time forming their own forming their own company. If I take away the footage, I feel like the narrative is painting private military companies as potentially corrupt to the point of being treasonous terrorists. That a pursuit of profit and market dominance coupled with the privacy that corporations are privileged with would put our nation's service people at even greater risks, since it would be in the best interest of these companies if our tax-funded militaries were incompetent failures. Honestly, I have not played a game with a what-if argument against PMCs as compelling as this one. When I bring the footage back, the message becomes, yeah, PMCs are bad. Badass. Look how cool they are. He just deflected bullets with a scowl. Look at that mask. Look at that gun. Look at him shoot that guy in the face. Yeah, look at that. So cool. Performative sarcasm aside, driving a hovercraft in a hurricane while fighting other hovercraft is fucking cool. Putting a giant metal plate on the front of my gun and painting it gold is a stupid kind of fun I can bring home to meet my parents. And I'm glad it's here. But if we're talking about the story, it's trope heavy, chunks of it are missing, and it feels like none of the main characters have the aptitude to fully grasp what's happening. If you've watched any of my reviews before, you'll know that I don't let this kind of stuff ruin an otherwise good time.
Friendly fire. We're highly trained professionals. Put us in a foreign country with no oversight whatsoever. Oh, what the?
The moment-to-moment gameplay is what we've come to expect from the genre. And if you don't know, that means enemies spawn around corners and rush behind waist-high cover from where they blind fire and sometimes stand up to be shot. Throw a grenade or get on their flank and they'll move to a better position. It's a gritty, loud, and addictive game of whack-a-mole. That last part about moving into a better position is important for the bullet fodder of Army of Two because the flow of combat isn't always a push in one direction. Sometimes the fight takes place in an arena with reinforcements that pressure players to displace. I found these parts the most challenging and fun because the AI was unpredictable. They didn't seem coordinated or intelligent so much as doggedly determined to move to whatever cover position was most desirable to them, even if that meant casually walking into the room we were hiding in.
Yo, guys, what the fuck? They're just walking in here. What the fuck? Don't you guys have cover points outside to use? Get out of here. Get the fuck away from me. Go away. Nah, there's a timer on my screen. What's it for? Oh, God. What was that?
Should you decide to play solo, you'll find this rogue behavior extends to your co-op partner. You can command them to stay where they are, advance, or follow you. And with each command, you can also designate if you want them to draw aggro. As early as the first training mission, you can see your buddy's default state is to ignore cover and jog over to the enemy unless you order him to regroup and stay put. I'll be honest with you, I can't really bring myself to say the partner AI is acting stupid, because this is pretty much how I play the game. I'd like to take a moment to apologize to Noah for all the times he had to drag me out of the line of fire to heal me. Sorry, Noah. I can't exactly remember experiencing AI like this in another cover shooter. I feel like I should be chalking it up as a negative because it just feels wrong, like the AI have no self-preservation. People don't just stand up and casually walk through the line of fire. But honestly, I kind of want to finish my solo playthrough, maybe even on hard. This kind of wildcard challenge isn't something I'm used to, and it made my co-op playthrough better because it shook me out of my familiar routine.
At first the Germans didn't shoot at it.
A war-curious storyline and accidentally funny AI aren't the selling point of a game called Army of Two. The marketing wants no one to forget this game is about the unique co-op moves you can do with your best mate. The one you'll engage with the most is the aggro system. The more you shoot at the bad guys, the more focused and aggressive they are at shooting you instead of your teammate. I feel this is rather common for post-health kit shooters. You can look at it as a method for discouraging a run-and-gun playstyle or a more cynical viewpoint of a break-in-the-action, sit-and-wait mechanic. For this game, you're given a meter that shows how much aggro you've accumulated, and you'll want to trade this back and forth to allow each player opportunities to maneuver. If you can build enough aggro, you'll be prompted to overkill. This kicks in slow-mo for the enemies and the aggroed player, allowing their partner to move around at normal speed for about 10 seconds while going unnoticed by the AI. Just be careful not to take too much damage, or when you go to press A to initiate overkill, you'll instead engage another lovely feature, feigning death, or as I like to call it, push puppet mode. Going full push puppet is your oh shit button that gets the AI to completely ignore you while you heal and drain aggro. I only ever used it on accident when trying to trigger overkill. Okay, look, there's a long list of these co-op moves I need to get through, so why don't we spice things up with an award show? First up is the Michael Bay but Jank Award, and the winner is Back to Back. These scripted moments in the game see our intrepid heroes standing out in the open and taking dozens of bullets to the face. The whole sequence plays out in slow motion, and enemies sure do take their sweet time running out to get shot. It takes the enemies so long to run out from behind cover that it usually ends before all the bad guys are killed, and you wind up getting shot from all directions as soon as the sequence is over. But hey, doesn't it look fucking cool? Our next award is, it's pretty cool and I like it, but it's also kinda awkward.
That feels kind of personal.
And the winner is Riot Shield. The Riot Shield turns one player into a mobile piece of cover, and these things can take a beating. It's fun and empowering to slowly march forward, cutting down the AI as they retreat. It can be hard to see when playing in split screen. In cramped environments, it's all too easy for the standing player to get disconnected and start taking all the aggro. Riot Shield. The fuck am I doing? Up next is the Completely Unnecessary Award, and it goes to Co-op Sniping. I think there are fewer than a half dozen situations in the game where you can but aren't required to perform co-op sniping. In single player, this ensures your AI teammate equips their special weapon and snipes the same thing as you. It could be something explosive or two guards. Of course, when playing with another human, you can ignore this entirely and just tell your friend what to do. And I use the term guards loosely because this isn't an opportunity for stealth. I think this literally happens twice late in the game, but if you don't shoot the guards, crossing an invisible line on the ground triggers AI to rush out and fight you. Wow! If you do shoot the guards, you still trigger the same AI, they just don't rush out at you. And the award for this doesn't actually count as a co-op tactic, but they put it on the back of the box anyway, goes to a hovercraft with 2 seats. The first time you see the hovercraft is in this borderline pornographic scene where Salem and Rios mount up while inside a plane. There's all these close-up shots like Batman and Robin while the music swells just as it flies back into the water. You're pumped. You're ready to zip around and unload into some fools. Then the game loads and you're standing on dry land.
What happened to our hovercraft? The fuck, guys? Yeah, what the shit?
I think this might be another case of cut content. A bit later, when you do get to pilot a hovercraft, it's fun, but feels no different than any other co-op or multiplayer game with vehicles. We're most of the way through this, folks. Please stick with us. Next up is the It Could Have Been a Ladder award, and it goes to lifting your AI buddy onto a ledge. This could have been a ladder. The This is fun for the first time then I forgot about it award goes to slapping your buddy in the face. You can also fist bump and air guitar. I didn't notice if this had any effect on gameplay, which would be kinda cool if it did. I hope you're still with us because we saved the best for last, my personal favorite. The award for I'm King of the World goes to the Tandem Parachute. I personally can't get enough of seeing what must be over 500 pounds of best friends strapped into one parachute and casually gliding into a firefight while in broad daylight. One player steers the parachute while the other snipes at enemies who are too stupid to shoot the chute and sends you both plummeting to your deaths. That's gonna do it for our award show this year. Tune in next time when we I don't fucking know. Talk about unlocks, maybe? Sure, why not? I think the last major selling point I haven't talked about are the unlocks. As an employee of a PMC, you're getting paid for completing objectives. From the main menu and at mission checkpoints, you'll get to purchase weapons and masks from the black market. Having gotten to run around with a horse mask and pop cans fitted to the barrel of a solid gold gun in the third game, I was pretty excited to see what this first title had to offer. While we do get to pimp out our guns with either gold or platinum skins, what's on offer here is tamer in comparison, which is to be expected since I'm jumping from the last game in this series to the first. The masks in particular all seem to look like they fall into the trying too hard to look cool category when I was really hoping for something completely ridiculous. There are 3 suits of armor which just unlock as the game progresses. What's most important to consider are weapon stats. As I've mentioned, the AI can be sporadically aggressive. Their health pools deepen as the story progresses, and they don't exactly flinch or react to getting shot. Combine all this with weapons that are weak, inaccurate, or both, and you'll be having a frustrating time. I played around with different weapons, but mostly favored the ones that were most accurate. You're free to pick guns that suit your playstyle, but no matter what you go with, the feedback about whether or not your shots are connecting isn't what it should be. And even though I'm a self-healing bullet sponge, call me a hypocrite, but I hate it when the AI feels that way too. To compensate, you're literally given hundreds of rounds for primary and secondary weapons, which you'd think would be enough. Technically it was, as we never completely ran out of ammo, but there were more than a few occasions where Noah and I thought the game was going to let us run out. The only way to replenish is with random ammo drops from dead enemies. The type they drop is also random, but seems to favor the weapon you're using. So let's say you run out of machine gun ammo and switch to your pistol. Chances are you'll start getting pistol ammo and do your best frustrated Curly impression. Oh, and ammo is not instant, so make sure your teammate isn't the kind of person who would shoot the food in Gauntlet. I'd like to extend another apology to Noah because I am that person. I wanted to play the first Army of Two because I had lots of fun playing the third game in the series with Noah. I was looking forward to ridiculous unlocks, over-the-top fist-bumping action, and enough waist-high cover to fill a football stadium. Sorry, I'm American, we measure things differently here. Anyway, we got all of that, albeit less polished and trimmed down. As I fleshed out this review, I realized how many caveats go along with suggesting this to anyone. I can certainly recommend it, but only to those who are already nostalgic for it or have a close friend with whom you can set your expectations and go into it looking for a lighthearted, testosterone-fueled good time. It would seem I'm developing a kind of theme with the games I'm reviewing, in that anyone who needs compelling characters and narrative, or a high level of difficulty, or an experience not found in more popular games, is likely to not find an engaging experience. You must decide before going in that you're not only okay with the rough edges, but can see some of them as a positive. Of the 2 I've played, I recommend Devil's Cartel as the better experience. It has everything on offer here, but a better execution of it. If you ever want to talk video games, you can find me most Wednesdays around 7 p.m. Pacific. Stick around after the credits for something you've missed. I'm Sweaty Rob. Thanks for watching.
Well, it was unprecedented corruption before January 6th, 2021.
Oh boy, God, those flags look cool. Oh my gosh, I love this stage, even though it's like, oh, the timing on that. Wow, that couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah, here's between. Don't.
Okay, I think we're just gonna jump out of this one. There it is. I needed a Twitch clip for this weekend's video. There it is. I've got it.